Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Bounty hunting looks to be the next big gameplay loop that Cloud Imperium are building into. Cloud Imperium have recently been talking about new bounty hunting gameplay, some plans for it, and bits that they've been building towards it. So it's possible that we're going to see some bounty hunting updates in Star Citizen Alpha 3.20, but it looks more likely that there's going to be a larger update later this year with the last major patch of 2023 in Q4, be it called 3.21 or 4.0, whatever Cloud Imperium decide it's going to be numbered. Recently, Cloud Imperium told us that Port Olisar, the oldest station in Star Citizen, was getting replaced with Seraphim Station in Alpha 3.20, as they need this sort of more updated station with all the mod cons and features to support cargo gameplay and a larger scale, as well as to support bounty hunting gameplay. In fact, they said the whole reason for adding in the station now was to focus on and introduce bounty hunting gameplay into each station as much as they can. I believe that this is all leading up to Bounty Hunting 2.0, but knowing Cloud Imperium's current numbering schemes, that will probably be referred to as Bounty Hunting 1.5. That's not a joke, that's probably what they'll call it. Each station has a security dock now. At least this is true of all the Leo stations. There's going to be other stations that potentially don't have that. Obviously, Grimhex doesn't have a security dock, though, things like that. So these security docks also double as security offices, where you will bring your bounties, potentially get some bounty hunting gear, and get some missions too. Though I would still expect you to get most of your bounty hunting missions from the Mobiglass, or at least a lot of them, but those security offices are where you're going to be doing a lot of your admin and ending bounty hunting assignments. Interestingly, on a bit of a side note, Cloud Imperium do appear to be trying to put, especially with stations, everything in hangars. So they want to get rid of these like landing pads. They want to make it everything so it's hangar based, so you can spawn ships in, you can despawn them, put them into storage and that sort of stuff. But for the security docks, they appear to have landing pads on them where you can land, drop off your bounties, get paid, then go back and take off again. I suppose you're not spawning ships in there, so it sort of makes sense. We've actually seen some of the early internal work for some of these security offices that are on planets. I suppose they're just going to be used in a very similar way all over, but Cloud Imperium have been doing some white box work on the Hurston security office, so you'll use these offices to drop off bodies of captured bounties, basically moving these large floating boxes or coffins or cryopods into storage areas. So you get your bounty in these cryopods and you push them into the drop-off location near the front of the office, because they actually tried having the sort of drop-off areas further in, but then you'd be walking around this large complex with a body, which would be a bit weird. There will be bounty hunting boards to be able to get more missions. There's going to be sort of supplies and gear shop. There looks to be an office where you might be able to meet important sort of NPCs or mission giver NPCs. There are jail cells and detention areas too, because you don't want a bounty to always be in a cryopod. So those floating cryopods appear to be something that they're working on at the moment. I believe that originally they could be placed on a trolley and then moved around, but they went, actually, let's have them anti-grav so we can push them around in more places. We don't have to worry about ramps, elevators, and edges. We know that they're going to be tying new reputation paths and rewards for bounty hunting as they add more and more bounty hunting gameplay, with tougher bounties being offered as you get up the chain and more lucrative rewards. There'll be NPC mission givers and that sort of stuff, and we know that they're working on some mission givers at the moment, Batista and Gibbs. These are part of the Crusader Community Outreach Security Office, known as the Lemonade Stand at Orison. I believe they have some presence in Squadron 42 as well. So gameplay-wise, you're going to have both ship combat and FPS bounties. With soft destruction, you're able to blow up a ship and then board it and then capture a bounty, or at least their body. There will be some bounties that are very much FPS missions, as you find them at sort of like points of interest and that sort of stuff in a village, or maybe on board a derelict. Also, it's quite likely in the future that Cloud Imperium will extend the soft destruction system for NPCs, so they will potentially survive when a ship gets blown up. In the future, NPCs will very much have a schedule and hierarchy of needs as well, so you'll be able to intercept them when they're at a bar, or like gone to a hab to go sleep or whatever, but you could also go after them while they're flying around in space. Tracking is something Cloud Imperium have been working on too. Bounties will have their location updated when they are detected by a lawful character, by comm array, by stations or informants. You'll then be able to work out where they're going or where they were last seen and go there. Eventually, this will all tie into the dynamic universe simulation, at least in the future anyway. These NPCs will be able to sort of fly around and accrue more and more infamy. They'll get more of a bounty on the head, the more sort of bad stuff they do, and they'll become more of a threat, and then more sort of missions will be generated for them. This will affect their loadouts and area of influence as well, what they're flying, where they are, all that sort of jazz. Very much both PvP and PvE bounty gameplay will be supported. But what happens when a player is captured? Sort of, you get them, you chuck them in a cell or a cryopod. So last time Cloud Imperium talked about this, they said a player that's captured will have the choice to respawn immediately, and that will wind them up in prison if they are a criminal, or wait to be rescued or for something to happen. So you can wait for a while, just respawn, whatever. And players that are naughty will have bounties on their heads that will increase over time, and probably start to get a lot of missions generated for other players to go after them. But not just other players, because I suspect there will be NPC bounty hunters as well, eventually at least. I am really interested to see if there is competition with bounty hunters trying to get the same target. I'd also expect NPC bounty hunters and encounters in the future, but a lot of this can just be handled by security forces in Stanton. How do you capture a bounty alive? Well, Cloud Imperium have plans for this. Basically, there will be less than lethal weapons and ammo, advocacy tools like stun batons and handcuffs. Also, you'll be able to surrender. Bounty hunting ships will have a mixture of advantages. They may be able to carry a lot of bounties at once. They might have the facilities to support and power cryopods or multiple cryopods. I assume that you can't just have a load of the floating cryopods on any ship, otherwise that would make bounty ships a lot less necessary. But I also believe that they'll be able to make better use of AI blades that are geared towards bounty hunting, so like give you access to bounty hunting databases and tools to be able to track players better, that sort of stuff, or bounties in general better. And they'll generally have better focused loadouts for bounty hunting, be they more or less than lethal or whatever. The sort of focused bounty hunting ships we have in the game at the moment are the Avenger Stalker, which has multiple cryopods and cells at the back. You've got the Hawk, which has that single pod in the rear, and then you also have the Cutlass Blue, which has lots and lots of those pods. Now, interestingly, if you're not required to capture your target alive, then a whole range of other ships also become viable and preferred too. I'm interested to see the difference between dead or alive or capture alive missions, because I suppose if you want the full bounty hunting gameplay loop, it would be capture them alive, right? Otherwise you're just sort of getting paid for taking out the trash. So for this version of bounty hunting that I'm expecting by the end of the year, your basic gameplay loop would be get a bounty mission, either from the Mobiglass, the bounty board, an office, or a mission giver. Go to their last known location and try and track them down. Find them, engage them, either in space or on the ground, apprehend them, or recover their body. So you'd either like knock them out, or get them to surrender, wound them, cuff them. Then you put them in a cryopod and take them to a bounty office and deposit the cryopod there. Boom, you get paid. There is a ton of refinement and evolution that Cloud Imperium will want to get in beyond this, but that's my expectation of what it looks like that we're moving towards by the end of the year. It's also quite possible that Cloud Imperium will remove green zones, or at least some more of them in the game, so you can pull out your weapons anywhere and you can do this gameplay anywhere and track bounties down. I really love the idea of eventually you'll be doing like mining, or you'll have some crew on board your like large ship, and bounty hunters will turn up and go, we want this particular crewman from your ship. Everyone else is fine, but we are after this guy. Because also there's then scanning ships to see if that person's aboard their ship, right? So you'd scan them, you'd see all the names of the people on board. Is there going to be an element of escaping once you are captured at all? That's another thing, sort of like, is there that kind of gameplay? Is it, well, you can escape, but you have to have external help to be able to do that. I'm just really interested to see all this sort of stuff. Boom! That's it for your bounty hunting updates today, but what do you think? Are you excited for bounty hunting gameplay and the additions that looks like the Cloud Imperium are putting into the game over the next few months? Are you a budding bounty hunter looking forward to much more depth and more interesting gameplay there? Are you a criminal that's keen to have some more danger in the game for when you play? Do you think we'll see this by the end of the year? Would you prefer to go after your bounty on the ground in FPS, or do you want to dogfight them and take them out like that? Are you preferring to take a bounty in alive or not? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. There are so many space games. Star Citizen is obviously king. Fight me. But how do you keep yourself secure and private while in space, away from the prying eyes of Big Pirate and Big NordVPN.com/BoredGamer. That gives you potentially the best protection in cyberspace. Oh, see what I did there? Stay safer online with a secure private internet connection that also helps you get access to the content you want. Let me give you some testimonials that I'll just make up now. I just turned off NordVPN and got ganked by a load of pirates. I turned off NordVPN and my legs fell off. There you have it. Get NordVPN, because if you're not going to believe those testimonials that I just made up, what are you going to believe? You can grab it from the links below. It's good and it's super cheap and I use it. There you go. Boom. Something else that's good is our ship giveaway. Salvage is the newest big gameplay loop at the moment in game, and we want to help you get involved with that, so we're giving away a Drake Vulture light salvage ship with lifetime insurance. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July. More details in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel with the join button under our videos, or becoming a Patreon, or donating, or even just subscribing and liking and commenting on our videos and sharing them. You'll get an occasional exclusive video. There's polls and posts to get involved with. Please consider joining them, because it really, really helps us out. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any feedback, please chuck it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.